All right, so maybe about maybe a month ago, I had a series of dreams. I had a few dreams that really stood out to me that I want to share with you all. And so, with the first dream, I was in a large, kind of like a large like event space. I was at some event, and there were a lot of people there. But in the center of the room, like in the aisleway, I could see this man who I knew very well. And so for me, I'm like, oh, I want to go up and say hi and just see how he's doing. And so as I was approaching this man, what really stood out to me was that he was like taller than what I ever knew him to be. So that already stood out to me. But then as I got closer to his face, I just kind of looked at him like, what? Like I looked at him with like the most confused look. And it's because as I was looking at his facial features, they were like slightly distorted. And it was like very small distortions that you would definitely notice if you know a person very well. And so with this particular man, I knew him pretty well. So just to look at his face and to see how kind of distorted it was, like some of his facial features to me just looked twisted or like reversed. I just was like confused and also kind of terrified at the same time. Like, who is this random man that I just walked up to? Because clearly he's not who I thought he was. Now, what's interesting is that everyone else is standing around this man as well, but they are just acting like perfectly normal, like nothing is wrong. I'm the only one who is inwardly and outwardly kind of freaking out a bit because I think for me, I just remember feeling in the dream, I just approached basically a stranger. This is not who I thought this person was. And so immediately what I felt after I kind of looked at him with a confused look, I started to like kind of back away because I was getting ready to run because I knew it's like, Ariana, you need to get away from this person. He's not who you think he is. But immediately before I could even run away, this man grabs me by the arm. He grabs like my left arm and he squeezes my arm and kind of pulls me close in a way to say like, you're not getting away. Then all of a sudden I'm not dreaming anymore. Now I'm entering into this, what they call like sleep paralysis. And all of a sudden, I can just see myself like not even see myself, but I can feel myself rather pinned back. And I can still feel the man's hand in real life. I can feel his hand squeezing my arm, and not in a nice way. Like you could tell that my arm was being squeezed for the purpose of harming me. And so my experience with sleep paralysis in the past has taught me that when I experience this, I need to say the name of Jesus. It's only the name of Jesus that will prove to be effective in terms of getting out of this state. But then also there's just reactions that happen honestly in the spiritual realm when you're in that paralysis state and you say the name of Jesus. I promise you there's things that just happen. And so I knew that I needed to say the name of Jesus. And so I just started saying like, Jesus, 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 Jesus. And I kid you not, immediately what I literally felt somebody grab my lips and like hold them together as if to tell me like, shut up, like do not say his name. And even though I didn't hear someone specifically say, shut up, do not say his name, that's what that grabbing felt like to me. Like it literally felt like someone saying like, shut up. Like that's how it felt. And of course it's like if my lips are being closed, I'm having a hard time breathing. So I could remember feeling myself gag, like I literally was gagging. So I'll tell you all about another dream that I had, or a sleep paralysis experience that I had in a moment. But I kind of want to go back to what I just shared and what it has taught me, or even reinforced even further about Jesus and his name, but also a little bit about what we can learn about demons from this. So remember how I told you I'm in this dream and I'm walking up to this man who I definitely knew, but as I get closer to him, I can tell by his features like little subtle differences that this is not exactly him. Like I could tell that. And what comes to my mind as I really like thought about this dream, but then also just prayed about it and talked about it with God, like, what does this mean? This is like the interpretation that I feel very confident about. And if I didn't, I wouldn't share it with you all either. But really what comes to my mind when I think of this dream of approaching this man and looking at his face, and his features are just slightly shifted, that the people around him didn't notice it, but I did. What this really made me think of is that demons love to pose and pretend to be other spirits that you think that you know. People like believing that like they're speaking with their ancestors, or believing that they're speaking with like their deceased loved ones. Demons love to pretend as if they are those people. Like you think that you're actually entertaining a kindred spirit, but really you're entertaining a demon who is posing themselves to be that person that you love and that you feel so connected to. But what came to my mind, honestly, is that the reason why in the dream that I was able to detect his features being different, it wasn't just because I knew this man very well. It's almost like in my dream, I could discern that you are not who you say that you are. And when you think of discernment is distinguishing between spirits. That's really what discernment is. It's being able to distinguish between spirits. And I honestly feel like that in my dream, literally, that's what I was doing, was discerning spirits that, I could tell something was off, more so spiritually, but it's almost like it kind of manifested itself physically by his features, but it's almost like spiritually I was distinguishing between like a demon versus not one, right? And so I think that was a huge takeaway that I took from that dream, is how demons are that deceptive that they can kind of mask themselves to be something that they're not. But it really does take God's discernment to be able to distinguish that, or else we're gonna be deceived, right? And so then, of course, the next part of the dream, I mean, just thinking about, I promise you, I literally could feel his hand squeezing my arm, and I could literally feel myself like pinned back on my bed and couldn't move, and lips being closed and gagging and all of that. And that experience really reminds me of the other sleep paralysis that I had maybe a few days later, right? And so a few days later, I had another one of these experiences. And this time I'm still saying like the name of Jesus, because again, my past experiences with sleep paralysis has taught me you got to say the name of Jesus. So I started to do that. And I just remember saying Jesus, 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 Jesus. But as I'm talking, I hear this beep. It's not even just a beep, it beeps. It's like beep, 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 beep. Like I hear that every time I say Jesus, I just hear beep, 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 beep. And honestly, I was just thinking like, okay, after I like woke up from it, I said out loud, it's like, what are these beeping noises that I heard? I just didn't understand. And so, I asked God, like, what is this? I had no idea. Days later, I don't know how, and maybe this has to just be God dropping it in my spirit, but days later, all of a sudden the word that came to my mind was censor. You know, when you are, you're watching a show that has like explicit language, right? And they don't want, I guess, a younger audience to hear the language. They censor it. So you hear all these beeps to bleep out all the foul language. And so it reminded me of what I experienced when I started saying Jesus' name, and I'm just hearing all these beeps in my ear, is that the demons were literally trying to censor me from saying the name Jesus. That's literally what that was. And it correlates very well to the previous paralysis experience too, where my lips are being closed, I'm gagging, I'm bound to my bed, because these demons are doing all that they can to prevent you, really in that case, to prevent me from speaking the name of Jesus, because they understand that the name of Jesus has authority. It's really interesting, and in the Bible it speaks about too how even the demons tremble when they hear the name of Jesus. Like, they recognize and they know his authority. And so these recent experiences has honestly just reinforced that. So I just wanted to share those experiences with you all. And honestly, I think it is just a glimpse of how powerful Jesus' name is. And it is just a glimpse of just how evil demons are and how much they hate the name of Jesus.